It is so nice to see everyone again. It has been a very long time. I think I have developed an autoimmune disorder. So bear with me. I'm exhausted. It's the end of the day. It's my Friday. It's been an amazingly crazy week. Today's the only day I have not left the house. Um, Trying to catch up on things from being sick the entire month of April and then having to spend 2 weeks recovering, right? But this isn't exactly a coffee chat. It's tea. It's actually goji berry and dandelion tea to try to help calm my immune response. I talked about that in my series that ended up just failing miserably to keep track of my graduation. But there are a couple episodes in that playlist you can go and check them. So I won't repeat how I found out I was allergic to polyester. Anyway, I'm thinking of turning the current trends in education episodes. I'm considering converting those to more of a podcast format, which is why I have my podcast mic up and I've got my earbuds in. If you've ever tried to record yourself in Zoom and you get a lot of feedback, that's why. You've got to have earbuds or headphones on and a mic. You can do an all-in-one headset, but it needs to look like a podcast, right? Anyway, so there's one thing I really wanted to go over today, and that's why I'm doing it tonight when I'm really tired and I just want to be done. It's like 8:30. But let me do share screen. What the heck is this? You can tell I haven't been on Zoom in a while. I have no idea. Let me turn my bedtime alarm off. Okay. I want to share my screen because I got this today. Let me scroll back. I was cleaning out my inbox. You don't want to know how many unread emails I have in there. But I found this one. I actually got the original email, I think in March, right? And I felt this was so important. So many colleges are they should think about their budget, right? But they're thinking the way to do that is to cut their online course offerings. That is not going to work, right? This is about how many students are telling colleges that they want hybrid availability. Some classes in person, some online. Native colleges are falling prey to thinking we need to do everything in person. We need to do personalized face-to-face education. Most Native Americans are introverts. High percentages of anxiety and autoimmune disorders. No, they don't want to do that. Plus, if you've seen smoke signals, you know the joke about the Rize car that only drives in reverse. All the other gears have gone out, so they have to drive it backwards to get anywhere. I've had students who have had their car break down. They don't have money for the specific repairs, and they've had to switch all their classes to online. No, they can't show up in person. Um, anyway, the it's forcing everyone to attend class in person and face to face is an isolationist tactic. It's something that narcissists and abusers use. Native American women, particularly, are almost 3 times as likely to be victims of domestic violence during their life as non-Native women. There are so many red flags it throws up. And it's just isolationism is a colonial construct. It's a mental hurting and controlling thing. So and this data backs that up. Okay. Some of you may be listening and not able to read. So I'm going to treat this like it's a podcast without the video and read this. Not the whole paper, obviously, but some of it. The latest student data points to a clear reality institutions can no longer ignore. For many small colleges, the real threat isn't declining demographics or shrinking budgets. It's the widening gap between what students want and what colleges are offering. And I experienced this myself. I graduated with my bachelor's degree in 2009. Tiny Catholic university in, was it in Iowa, South Dakota, somewhere out there, right? They had decided to go with the trend and offer degrees online. They didn't adapt to how you engage with students when you're teaching online. They pretty much just tried to transfer a brick and mortar experience into an online format. They went out of business. There are 3 to 4 colleges for 2 years now that go out of business every month, right? And it really started when they pulled back from that COVID online course and degree offering and started going back to in person. But it says here that the research makes it clear today's high school and college students want an experience that blends flexibility with in-person connection. Most institutions still operate on a binary model of learning that forces students to choose one or the other. And sometimes you have to. Like, I have gone through 3 programs at Arizona State at this point. I got my teaching English degree, a pandemic graduate, my master's degree in 2020. And then I got a post-bac certificate in instructional design. And then I just got a Master of Science in Global Technology and Development. And I actually went and showed up for graduation. That main campus in Tempe is unbelievably huge, but they had an entire program set out for all the online students that was absolutely outstanding. Some of the student speakers they had were just, I mean, it just gives me chills to think back. They were so empowering with their story. right? And then we got to meet our student success coaches that had been with us. And I had the same one for almost the entirety of all three programs. So it was a blast to meet mine. But I was so anxiety ridden. Oh God, they had the best smelling Mexican food catered. I couldn't eat any of it because I was afraid of, if I tried to eat, I was going to throw up. So I just stuck to making sure I was hydrated. Anyway, there needs to be things like that. You need to, even if you're nowhere near your college's campus, there needs to be a way, the college needs to facilitate this for students to get together and study together. I mean, we did it online. We would just go, hey, how about we do a Zoom? And I remember for my instructional design, there was we did that a couple of times. One of the other girls was I want to say she lived in Tennessee or South Carolina, and one of the girls was in the United Arab Emirates. And we made it work, right? Not all students are so motivated, or they are not tech savvy enough to think how to do that, right? So it says here, most research on college modality preferences asks the wrong questions. These surveys present students with a binary choice, online or in person, and then assume that a preference for in-person learning equates to rejection of online learning or vice versa. Now, I have one kid who physically needs to be in a room with other people, and they also have to have their hands engaged, not with a keyboard, but with something else, or the information does not stick in their head. It's some students definitely struggle, and just there are some who just outright cannot do online coursework at all. But then there are other ones. I completed my bachelor's degree online. I did my associates in person, but I did my bachelor's online. And then I've actually got 3 master's degree. I also have a law degree in Indigenous Peoples Law. It's all been online because I figured out as a single mother, I have time to drive and sit in the classroom, or I have time to do my schoolwork, and not both. But obviously I've got kids who could not do that, right? So what was the clear pattern that emerged? Let's look at, scroll through this and find here. Our survey data reveals a clear pattern. 67% of undergraduates want at least one online course per semester. 42% want 2 or more. The demand is even stronger among prospective students than ones that are already enrolled. And 91% of high school students want at least one online course per semester, with 76% wanting 2 or more. I have a lot of students who have children. They need to attend class online and not in person because they have, there's the problem with daycare and stuff. They also work. They need evening classes online, right? If they work for a tribe, the tribal government is willing to let them attend class during their workday. But because with Native American colleges, we have to have eyes on a student. So it's teaching on Zoom for 2 hours a day for each class. Other schools, it's entirely asynchronous. Like at ASU, I would watch recorded lectures, like you're watching this recording of me, and then I would go do the discussion board assignment and start reading what I needed to for the short paper at the end of the week or whatever other project there was, right? But this is pretty profound. And I would like to see what this is for graduate students. Now, I'm looking for a PhD in public policy, and I've applied to one that's entirely online at an R1 institution. That is the highest rated research institution in the world. And I'm just absolutely thrilled. I mean, if I get accepted, my dissertation defense will be done entirely online. And that's just absolutely fantastic because I can continue to work in education and kind of have that as a little bit of an internship before I get to the point where I need to go spend 3 months, and what I'd like to do is spend 3 to 6 months in Oklahoma with the Cherokee Nation for public policy. So this is not a fluke. This high absolutely matters. If colleges don't get the memo on this, more of them are going to go out of business. I went to, when I first went to college after high school, it was a very small college. I did not want to go to a large one. The one where I actually finished my associate's degree was equally as small, and I really needed that. I would have not graduated at all if I had had to show up someplace like the University of Washington or the UW and had 5,000 students in a lecture hall. I would never have finished. I would have just freaked out and just figured, well, college is not for me. We need people with expertise who can take us into the rest of the 21st century. People who can build relationships from a distance, right? We can find our internships locally. It's not like we don't want to go out and talk to people, but we don't need to move several states away and sit in a room with over 4,000 other humans to learn the skills that we need to bring back to our communities and make a difference for the next 10, 20, 30 years. Colleges and universities need to be thinking about the long game. And I realize that's really hard when you're looking at a tight budget. You cannot look at short term. I mean, obviously, if you have some programs nobody's really signing up for anymore, sure, that's logical to eliminate that. But you've got to not have the colonial isolationist policies first, because that's what a lot of this is, that's what a lot of this stems from. If you're trying to pigeonhole everyone into online only, you're being controlling. If you're trying to tell everybody, oh, you have anxiety and you're an introvert, you can only do online, and we have nothing for you to meet with any classmates or get any kind of sense of social support or interaction like you would do if you were on campus, that's not right either. So this is what I wanted to cover for today, just because I really found these numbers to be very profound. I still have this email in my inbox. So if you want the link to go to the Rize Education website, and not hunt for the link. But if you want to have the link where you can just click on it, go there, put in your email, and get to download this report yourself, let me know in the comments, and I will add that in a pinned post. Keep in mind, you cannot click on links in the YouTube comments. So you would have to look at something like that on your computer, and you would have to highlight, copy, and paste into another tab in your browser in order to do that. But it is absolutely worth giving them your email to get this report. This is just really, really profound. And if you are a college student or even a high school student, and you want to advocate for yourself, this information is a key piece on doing that. If you are a college professor, like I am, and you want to talk to your FYE committee, your curriculum committee, your dean of academics and stuff like that about this data, I would bet you they have not seen it, and they need to know this because they're just flying blind without it. Anyway, it is almost 9 o'clock, and I am just, to use a British word, I am cream crackered. So I am going to say goodnight to you guys and remind you to hang in there. We are all going to be okay. There are a lot of changes coming down the pike, positive ones. I'm sure there'll still be some negative ones for a little while, but yeah, it's very, very positive, and I can cover that in some upcoming videos because I've been attending a lot of networking Zooms. I got a lot of information for you guys. So thank you for being here. Consider giving a like. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. Make sure that bell's on so you'll get notified when I start uploading my review of some of this networking stuff. And get some sleep, guys. It's almost the weekend. By the time you see this, it will be the weekend. Literally invest in yourself and get some rest. Okay? I will see you guys later.